Well, the suspect charged in Long Island's Gilgo Beach murders has pleaded not guilty. 59-year-old architect Rex Heuermann is charged with killing three women. The victims' bodies were all found buried along the same stretch of beach in 2010. He is also a prime suspect in the murder of a fourth woman whose body was found near the others.
CBS News correspondent Meg Oliver reports.
Investigators combed through the Long Island home of accused serial killer Rex Heuermann over the weekend.
To think this guy was roaming around our community for so long, it's truly frightening.
He was arrested outside of his Manhattan office Thursday.
Rex, did you do it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks among us.
Heuermann is charged with the murders of three women and, according to prosecutors, is the prime suspect in the murder of a fourth. Their bodies were found within a quarter mile of each other on Gilgo Beach in late 2010.
Mr. Heuermann had a double life. He had a family. He had a wife. He had two kids. He was an architect. And I guess at nighttime, he turned into this monster.
Court records say investigators honed in on him in early 2022 when they discovered he owned a car which witnesses tied to the disappearance of one of the women. They also found data from 7 burner phones he purchased, some of which he allegedly used to contact the victims who were believed to be sex workers. Police also uncovered over 200 internet searches pertaining to the Gilgo Beach investigation. They eventually obtained Heuermann's DNA earlier this year from a pizza crust he discarded in Midtown Manhattan. Prosecutors say they match it to hair found on one of the victims.
We still have a lot of outstanding victims out there from that Gilgo Beach area that we still want to investigate. We are not excluding him from being a part of those murders as well.
In addition to the 4 murders Heuermann is suspected of, the remains of 7 other people, including 5 women, were found in and around Gilgo Beach between 2010 and 2011. John Ray is a lawyer for 2 of those families.
So they're hopeful, of course, and optimistic at this point because of what's happened recently now. But at the same time, it caused a lot of pain because it's not over for them by any means.
I'm Meg Oliver.
So many questions on this. For more on this, we want to bring in Josh Skule. He is a national security expert and former FBI executive director. He's also the founder and president of Bow Wave LLC. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to start by asking you, what difference did technology make in finding this suspect here? Why did it take more than a decade after these bodies were found to make this much of a development in the case?
So first, these investigations are difficult and they're laborious, and you have a lot of complicating factors at the beginning of this, working with the police department. Of course, the former police chief went to jail. But technology played a critical role. As I understand it, the FBI's cellular analysis team came in to do work with them. You have a joint investigation. You have advancements in DNA analysis. And what we really saw from the press reporting on this and the press conferences is that what they call trace evidence, the evidence recovered at this scene, was matched to DNA results from the investigators, from the pizza box, and likely they'll be getting additional evidence from those searches at the house.
So in 2011, forensic profilers told the New York Times that they believe that the murderer was most likely an educated white man with social skills. One of them said that, there's a possibility that his family may be away for the summer when the murders took place. And now we have this suspect here. Based on your sort of knowledge, I guess there isn't a typical serial killer, and of course this suspect has pleaded not guilty. But based on your knowledge of profiling, are you surprised at all by this type of arrest?
I'm not surprised by this type of arrest. Unfortunately, serial killers, they're predators in every sense of the word. So they blend with society or the victims that they are tracking, so they don't get caught. It doesn't surprise me that the profile and the work that was done matches the suspect. I mean, that is an art, not a science. So it helps investigators hone in on what could be suspects. And then it's really the investigative hard work of looking at all of the clues and matching those up.
Given all this, Heuermann has pleaded not guilty, though, to the murder of 3 of those women. What happens next in this case? And there are still so many other cases that detectives will be looking into, no?
Of course they are. And so the evidence that they are collecting at other searches from the internet, from his house, will help investigators match potentially the other victims and crimes that he may have committed. There are likely unsolved crimes that have gone on that'll come out from the evidence they're recovering. It's not shocking to me that in his initial appearance he pleads not guilty. Very few criminal suspects plead guilty at their initial appearance. But I do think as negotiations go on with his attorney and the evidence is mounting, that will change. We also don't know whether or not Heuermann spoke to investigators post-arrest and what they might have learned from him in his interview. All of that will lead to additional leads and other potential victims.
I know the neighborhood is stunned, but I mean, you nailed it. Here's a guy who just blends in perfectly, and of course, once again, innocent until proven guilty. But it certainly is a fascinating case thus far. Josh Skule, thank you so much.
Thank you.